Let's go.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. This is Mike Wilson, and we are here again this evening for an episode of Business and Investments in Ukraine, brought to you by Andesite Blue and to Locus Studios, our producers. So tonight is going to be a little bit of a different twist. We're going to go back to the lifestyle and the atmosphere and everything that's happening here in Ukraine. As we spoke last week, there's been considerable amount of missile attacks, and that just continues to go on. So we're going to kind of discuss that. Everybody handles it differently. Everybody has a different way of dealing with stress. I know with myself, if I get stressed out or overly stressed, I tend to start joking a lot. I start to, play games or joke and laugh. It's my way of really kind of dealing with it. In emergency situations, of course, I handle it a little bit differently because I have to be involved, and my hands are working, and so my mind thinks differently. But other than that, laughter is one of my biggest stress releases, and so I'm actually happy to bring you my next guest. Because anytime I spend time with her, it seems like that's all we can do is laugh. We don't have a serious moment. We do, but anyway, you kind of get the idea, which is nice. It's a pleasant way to really have conversations and make the mood light under stressful situations. But I want to kind of dig in a little bit and just talk to her. What really goes on and what's going on, how she's felt. It's kind of separated her family a little bit, and I'll let her explain that. And so we'll get right into that right now. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Daryna. So Daryna, welcome to our show.
Good evening.
Please introduce yourself and tell us about you. Tell us where were you born and everything, and here's time in Ukraine and just a little bit of your life before and where you are now.
Okay, so I'm glad to see you. And Daryna,
Mm-hmm.
Daryna from Ukraine. So I lived all my life in Kiev, even my parents from Kiev. So when the war started, I was here.
So this is a generational. So your parents were
Yeah.
also born in Kiev?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So
Well,
you're, wow.
from Kiev.
And grandparents too?
And grandparents.
Oh, wow. See, and I've never met anybody that has that deep
Yeah,
of
but
genealogy into
like
Kiev.
parents of mom, they are from Kiev, but parents from father, they're from another city.
Ah,
From
okay.
Zhytomyr, I think.
Zhytomyr, okay.
Yeah.
All right, but still, that's some pretty deep generations in Kiev.
Yeah.
So you're a true Kievite.
Kievite. Yes, exactly.
So tell us, what were you doing before all of this
Okay,
calamity?
life before war in Kiev was wonderful, and we enjoyed of it. But when the war started, I was in Kiev, and it was so hard to see all this difference. So I remember that time when they started, Russian troops came to Kiev,
Mm-hmm.
and because they started from Chernihiv, right?
Chernihiv, and then came down to
yeah.
north to Obolon and
Yes.
to and
So-
also
Brovary.
Brovary, yeah.
Yes.
So it's now you did not tell us that you were in the capital of Kiev. So Kiev is the capital of Ukraine, and the
Yeah.
capital of Kiev is.
It's Troeshena. Yes.
So you're
Thank
you're
you.
on the very northeastern side of Kiev,
Okay, right.
and so there was a lot of threat there.
Yeah, so it was hard for that time when we received information about attacks from Russia. And I live with my parents in Kiev before the war started. But for that moment, my mama, she was with me, and my father, he was out of Kiev. So for that time, we worried with mom very much about him because our village was under occupation.
Oh, so the little village that Grandma lived at, right?
Yeah,
And-
my grandmother lived there, and for that time my papa was there. So
Okay, and you said it was under occupation. Was it close to Chernihiv then?
it is around 45 kilometers from Kiev.
Okay.
45.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be scary because you weren't able to talk to your father.
No, we didn't have connection because everything was closed.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Internet, nothing. No light, no gas, no electricity. They didn't have
Wow.
nothing for that moment.
And it was winter. Snow came the week after. We
Yeah.
actually, because it was kind of relatively comfortable, no snow, and then a week after that, it snowed in Kiev and in that village. So with no light and gas and all that, that really made it stressful.
They had like mini kamin. They use it for heating.
Mini what?
Kamin, like fireplace.
Ah, like a campfire.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
So they use it for heating. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you get in touch with your father?
He called us first time after 3 weeks, maybe.
Okay.
Because they didn't have electricity. Then they found a petrol. And they used generators. Yes, so they put their phones, and after he can call us. But before that time, we didn't have connection.
How many people were using that generator?
How many people used?
Yeah, in other words, it was in the village, right? So
yeah,
many people come.
So they separated together. No, they communicated together, and I think we had 2 neighbors after us, so they communicated together and used.
So they worked together to So that's one thing that we had this conversation with some other people. Bradley, I think you might remember Bradley, and it really brought villages and people together during that time. People had to work together, And so one generator, you can only really, only has 2 outlets on it. Small generators, and it has 2 outlets on it. And if you don't have a splitter to be able to charge a lot of phones, you're sitting there with a few people at a time, and then your turn, after yours is
yours next.
Yeah, so but everybody worked together. They brought food together, heating, wood, whatever they can to stay warm.
And they had animals, chicken, so they used eggs, also cow.
Some eggs and milk.
Yeah, so in village it's more survive because they have
That
food.
is right. That is something. This is true because the city relies on the trucking system to come in and bring the food. We had a shortage of food here in Kiev at that time because the trucking was cut off.
Yes.
And many stores' shelves were empty, so they were only bringing the potatoes. They were only bringing the bare necessities into the stores for us to buy food.
I remember at that time we didn't have bread. I think we didn't have bread during 2 or 3 weeks. We didn't. We couldn't buy because people started to buy it early in the morning, like around of 9 o'clock, and everything's empty and gone.
Yeah.
So we were with my mom without bread.
Yeah.
All this time.
Catastrophe, right?
Catastrophic, yes.
Yeah. So that and it's interesting to be that close and be touched that close to that. So your father was occupied.
Yeah.
There was no access. He couldn't leave, and so it was more just waiting for Ukraine's soldiers to liberate that little village, which they fought hard against Geneva and your village, and managed to get that out. It was unfortunate for Irpin and Bucha. That was a much harder fight, and they actually came in there and occupied a little bit longer. And did some devastating acts over there, but so that happened. So then you and your mama left Ukraine. When?
No, we were not together because I said to my mama, "Let's go out because it's dangerous to be in Kiev," and my mama said, "No, because it's impossible." For her husband in village under occupation, and my mama said, I will not go with you because I couldn't leave my husband there.
Right.
Yes. So my decision was stay with mom until all moments will be alright around the father. I mean, when
everybody's back together.
Yes, get together, and then I decided it's time to go out. I received the invitation to Greece.
Okay.
And for a job, and I decided, it's like my mama and papa together, so now I can make step to go out.
And you have more peace to go out.
Yes.
When you know that they're taken care of.
It was easier. And then I used train and went to Greece. So it was my decision because we need money, and I stopped to work. No one worked for that moment.
Correct.
Everything was closed, so I decided someone need to help to parents. And I went to Greece, and they gave me a job for a season.
Very good.
Yes.
And how long did you stay away before you came back?
Half year.
Half a
half
year. So the
yes.
summer season, spring
All
through summer.
seasons, yeah.
Oh, okay. So high tourism. So you were in a kind of a position where you can help with it, the tourist
Yeah,
industry, right?
it was nice because I received a lot of sweet words from guests in our
Mm-hmm.
hotel. Like they said,
Comforting and
yeah,
yeah.
they said we are
They
with
didn't. They
Ukraine.
they knew you were Ukrainian and not Spanish or Italian. Is it?
We had different clients from Germany, even from Poland, from Italy,
Mm-hmm.
Spain, and they all said we are together with Ukraine.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and but every day I watched TV and I saw news, and my heart was with parents in Ukraine because my home is here, so I couldn't just open TV and close. I said I don't need to see all these moments because my heart was so fast.
It was tough because the news doesn't give a right reflection many times. They are sensationalists. They like to over exaggerate things to make it look devastating, and it's the end of the world, and that's it. That's what they feed on. They feed on that fear because it brings attention and it brings ratings. So they only go for the ratings. They don't really go for the truth. And so yeah, they're showing the devastation, and there was devastation. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, millions of Ukrainians lost their homes,
Yes.
and hundreds of
So
thousands
sad.
have died. Okay, and that is absolute devastation. So there's no question that is bad, and the news cannot overdo that. Okay, so and that's kind of what I focus my time here on. Also, yes, I'm a business and finance, show, and I talk
Yeah.
about these things. I talk about investments and especially now because we're building this back up and we're going to be involved with the rebuilding of Ukraine, which is an exciting season. But the main thing is that I want the truth of the reality of the feelings and the emotions that people can actually relate to it. I know many Ukrainians who are away from home and out of the country,
Yes.
they're going to understand you right away, and it's going to bring tears because they're going to feel that emotion, But to bring that to the world too, and that's compassion is also what helps us because it brings the support we need, and we have a tremendous amount of support from around the world, even in the humanitarian section. People are still donating cars to the front line. They're still bringing in medical supplies. They're still bringing in, clothing and vests, some flat jackets we call them, but vests for armory vests for the soldiers. So that operation is still going on. Civilians are involved in this around the world. We have a lot of foreigners here just doing what they can do. We've got people who train, and people who train the military, people who train medical, people who they don't have any skills. So, but they can drive a car, and they bring that, or they have some finances and they can bring that, So it's just a great reward, a rewarding feeling, and a good feeling like when you were in Greece and having other countries say we support you.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. Now you came back when?
I decided to come back in October.
Okay.
And
It was very peaceful in October.
Yeah, before the time it was peaceful.
Yeah.
Like no, not a big event
Yeah.
inside of Ukraine. But when I back to my home, started all these war things around.
Now the missile strikes, and that became a lot different because there was no real protection. We had to.
But my friends with whom I work in Greece, they said, "Oh, Daryna, why you are going to come back to Ukraine? It's war there." And said, "Okay, but my family, my parents, all there."
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "No, it is war." But I decided to come back. And after 2 days, they started bombing Kiev. And that's what we had
Yeah, in
after.
October, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was October because September I broke my leg, but the day that I broke my leg was the day that I was bringing my daughter back from Carpathia to Kiev, and so because everything was peaceful during that time, but then like you said, those missile strikes started happening. And we've been having missile strikes every month and sometimes every week, and the holidays was horrible because that's when it's just pure terrorism because we're not going to give you a peaceful holiday, so they're just sending missiles out to terrorize
Yes.
and kill civilians, on holidays, So that's how wicked Putin is. That's how wicked Russia is in this matter. But you decided to stay and stick it out. Now, how have you dealt with your own stress? What has been your way to deal with it?
When I had stress, okay, so I try to be positive. Like, of course, I worry. I worried about my country, about my family, my
Hmm.
parents, but I try to be positive. And anyway, life is continue.
Yes.
So that's why we should think about good things in our life. So I come back to my job in October.
Hmm.
So my company invited me to my last job before I leave
Left. Okay. Hmm.
Ukraine. So I come back and started work with children again. So my job is most around of
Children,
children
which are
because
always laughing and always,
yes,
they don't really feel the weight of that.
I think
So,
they miss also for me.
yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And your
Yes,
employers
they are
missed you.
funny, and it's
Yeah.
nice to see emotion, smile around of children, and they when they can play, and you see this, and you change with emotion with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So it's nice. So I come back to them, and we started work. So it helps me to be also positive.
Now, some people have a conflict of emotions when it comes to like celebrations, for example. How can, like birthday celebrations, wedding celebrations, or just a party, or just, like the weekend, going out dancing. They think, how can you do that? Some people have that emotion of, well, how can you do that? We're under war, blah, blah, blah. But, and we had talked about this before, but those emotions is what inspires and motivates people, in our country to this is what we're fighting for. Kiev is a beautiful city.
Oh, wonderful.
It's
The
before
best.
before the COVID. It was a city that never slept.
Yes.
But even during COVID, because I knew all the little places to go to,
Yeah.
that never slept. So, and there was always such a delight. In the summer we had the river, we had boating,
Yes.
some water sports, some warm sun, and so it was always nice. And Kiev has so many diversities of things to do. It's like you can go to the theater, you can go
Yes.
you can go to dance,
Cinema.
you can go to some dance studios and learn a new, dance method or whatever. You
Yes.
can take lessons, music. It's very entertaining. It's also IT. It's for business. I mean, it is the capital.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
Kharkiv was our industrial part of Ukraine. The
Okay.
east was our industrial side of Ukraine, and Kharkiv was the capital pretty much of the industrial side of Ukraine, all the way down to Kherson. I mean, so it was a lot of different, little bit different uh, jobs and different types of industry there on the east. But Kharkiv is the second largest city, and it is also a very beautiful city.
Of course.
And the mayor has done a fantastic job in Kharkiv prior to February last year. Now, I mean, we have a lot to rebuild, and there now it's you wouldn't recognize it. I mean, your heart would break just to see it,
Yes.
like Mariupol. But to the soldiers, they want to fight. They're fighting for their home. They're fighting for their family. They're fighting for the people they love. That's what motivates them to be on the front. That's what keeps them going. That's what keeps them fighting and being strong. That's why Ukraine has been able to push Russia back.
Yes. Of course.
A country that is 4 times larger in population. As far as
Of
territory,
course,
it's much
yes.
bigger, but I mean it's 4 times larger in population than Ukraine, and but yet they cannot defeat Ukraine
Of course.
because of the heart of Ukrainians. It's just
More warm.
very warm, cold
Very
cold hands, yes,
and
yes,
warm heart,
and warm
yes.
heart, yes. But
It's
yeah,
true. It's true.
and so some of the celebrations, like maybe it's a birthday party, or maybe it's a celebration over here, or it's a wedding party, or different events that go on, or the theater, or opera, or something like that. These help us to stay motivated. And,
Yeah.
we're not in prison.
That's true.
But having that atmosphere also helps the economy of Kiev, because we
Of Kiev,
need to
yeah.
we need to keep
Yeah.
running, we need to keep existing, and but it also helps in the motivation. It gives you a reason to wake up. It gives you a reason to move forward. Whether you have a family or you don't have a family. It gives you that joy. Said, oh, you know what? This weekend I got something planned. Someone invited me to go here, and you look
Yeah.
forward to that. And it's just a good distraction. Just for a moment, it just takes your mind off of it and helps release some of that stress.
Yes.
So, and that's some of the things even what you do for the little children. You bring laughter.
You didn't see their smiles. They came from other cities to Kiev, most of all. So I think they have from small village, most of all. So when they came to Kiev, their eyes, I want here, there, here, there. Yeah, Mama, please. And they, come on, let's go.
The parks are fun.
Yeah.
Where you work is fun.
Yes,
you bring you have a chance to bring us
and
joy.
you share with emotion, and they started laugh and smile. It's good.
You said something very important. You said that you have to make a decision to have a good mood.
Да. Yes.
It's we all understand
yes.
talk.
Tak, Ukrainian. Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do it when you first wake up to make that decision. Other times, if we're consistent at it, then we just have a good mood. But we don't always just have a good mood.
Yes.
we're a little bit human, and we're not supernatural. And I mean, some things get in our way. Some things aren't good mood. Some news or something happened in our life, or something goes on, or something happens close to us that can change our mood. But we make that decision to be happy or to be
happy,
energetic,
yes, and continue our life.
Right, and to press forward and to move on, because life will continue. Life moves on. Children will continue to grow up. We'll continue to have more children. New families are going to come up, and new families are going to be born. And things like that. Yes. So, but it was vital. A lot of people, they let their circumstances dictate their emotion. We've met a lot of those people because they're just not smiling. We can go on the subway, you can see a lot of unhappy people.
Children, you couldn't be serious. You started smiling. It's like automatic option.
Right, and that's that's a good inspiration. Because they do the funniest things anyway, and this makes us laugh from the gut. And my daughter, she did the funniest thing. I was laughing so hard, my daughter didn't even know how to think. She's like, "Are you laughing at me, or am I supposed to laugh with you?" She didn't understand why I was laughing so hard. But it was just this innocent little thing she did, and it was just in her mind. She had it all figured out and everything, and she did it. And I caught what she did, and I just couldn't hold it in anymore, and I was rolling and laughing, and I said, Oh dear, it says, big molodets. It says, you're so adorable, So I was just encouraging her, not making her feel ashamed that I was laughing, but it was just a little thing she did. And so she had kind of a half smile on her face, trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's the children are just such a unique blessing, to us. But I've been around you a few times.
Yes.
And you tend to carry that whether they're children or not. Laughing with you is really easy.
Thank you.
There's a lot of, I don't know, just some of the things, and that's certain personalities that happen that way. Not everybody's that way, And I know my friends that you've met,
yes.
They all feel the same way. Daryna, we love Daryna, and so it's just it's such a joy, to be around and to see that. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring you here, because it's a different aspect. We all suffer the same things. We've all been under the same pressure, but we all handle it differently. And it's the choices we make in our life. And so you didn't just decide today to be happy.
No.
You decided a long time ago.
Before.
Yes.
Before the day.
Years ago. When you're a child, you could be happy because you don't have to worry about anything. Mama feeds you every day, you go to bed, Papa makes sure you have a house over a roof over your head, that you're warm. Children don't, everything's comfortable for a child. Then you go to school, and then you go to university, and all of a sudden you become independent, and you start, you start exercising your own will, and that's when things really can change for you, that you have to make those decisions. That at around that age, am I going to be happy or not?
Like baby.
Like baby,
Like baby,
yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I tell people, I'm 61. I tell people I'm never going to grow up.
Cool.
And I said that my children keep me young. You know, and I have a lot of children.
Yes.
And but I
You're more
enjoy it.
lucky.
Yeah, I enjoy that though, and they do because I can relate to their emotions because I remember being a child, and it's like something I don't want to let go. And so, yeah, I do have
No,
my bad days.
when you sorry, like when you feel like child, like baby, you don't have problems around of you because
Right,
children stay without problems. They don't think about bad things.
right, exactly.
Everything is good, like not hungry, don't need money, only
Yeah,
honey.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's it's true. Like it's nice to be like a child.
Kind of like
And
you have a dog, right?
yes,
Your dog's name is
Ginger.
Ginger.
Ginger, yes.
And is your Ginger happy all the time?
Yes, always.
Exactly, right?
He's curly like me.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
poodle.
Yes.
Yeah, so but and poodles are pretty happy dogs, you know.
Yes.
And it's kind of like children, you know, that they're kind of a stressless life, you know.
Yes.
But we grow up and we take on responsibilities, but we still have to make those decisions. I know that's what separates us and our happiness. So you're already happy. So you know, when other people come into your life, you don't need them to make you happy because you're already there.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people gravitate to you and enjoy being around you because you just have this energy, and it's very positive energy, and people need that. And that's what kind of, you know, like places like Pepper's Club or Boho or Just Cafe or a lot of these clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're dance clubs, right? Pepper's Club is a music club, and
Yes.
you know, or going to the theater, you know, and sitting down and listening to the orchestra or listen to the opera or, you know, different events stuff like that. You know, those are our opportunity to get recharged because people gravitate to energy that you give.
Oh, thank you.
And but it's refreshing and it's nice and it's like, you know, so, you know, like I said, my friends, you know, they meet you and they're like, oh, we love Daryna, you know, they always say, oh, how's Daryna, where's Daryna, you know.
I will be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah.
So in the same way, so we're fighting a war, but if we're just in prison and in the gloom and just going to live our life in gloom, then we're not fighting for anything anymore.
Yes.
You know, and
No
then
reason.
we have no hope. Yeah, there's no reason. You know, so your joy is what inspires a soldier to fight.
Yes.
Your smile is what makes them fight. And if you look on Facebook or Instagram and these different social sites, you see the videos and you see a lot of mixed. You see women soldiers as well, and you see them with the other everybody together and soldiers, and they're taking the photos as a group. They're like brothers and sisters in that group, you know. And
Yes.
but you see the girls' smiles on there, you know, and it's a motivation. It's kind of an inspiration. It's what really gives us our fuel to get out there and fight for the beauty of Ukraine, for our home, and for everything that Ukraine stands for as a citizen, and even for us as foreigners who come to also fight for. So, and that's really the wonderful part.
So Ukrainian beauty will survive the
Yes,
world.
yes, yes,
We
yes.
should believe to that.
Now, and you know, maybe you should start a class.
Yes.
A positive energy class, you know. They say, how do you have it, Daryna?
will.
How do you get this? Where do you get
I
this
will
from?
send you invitation.
There you go. Yeah, I'll come. You know, a motivational class, you know, and I've been through many of them in America because of my business, because how I've done business. I've been in sales, I've been in marketing, I've run my own businesses, and so I've learned that art. I've learned not to allow just the circumstances to dictate my mood. And so but I had to be educated in it, and I had to learn to make those decisions, and I had to learn to overcome my emotions so that I can continue to move forward and not affect other people with negativity, but I had to learn to be positive. And so those classes are vital. I mean, you can Tony is it Robbins? Tony Robbins. He has those classes, you know, and motivational speaking courses and stuff like that. But But he doesn't understand Ukrainians because he's not Ukrainian. You're Ukrainian,
yes.
and you understand Ukrainians, and it
Yes,
would be good
logical.
it would be logical to have a motivational course to help people and how they can understand their own happiness. And I tell you, when you are happy inside, then the outside even makes you more happy. If you're unhappy inside, then nothing makes you happy,
Yes, it's
right?
true. Yes.
Yeah, and so there, there's a key element there, but it really starts inside, doesn't it?
From inside.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So,
Agreed.
yeah, good job.
Good job.
Big mulledettes.
Big mulledettes. True.
Now, I wanted to kind of segue a little bit from our conversation to business because I wanted to talk about the atmosphere and the climate of society, how you feel in Kiev. Now we had sirens going off every day now. We've been having sirens going off 2, 3, 4, even 5, 6, and 7
Yes.
times in a day. And it does create a bit of a nervousness because yesterday morning we had Zaporizhia.
So often.
Kiev, we had lost lives in Kiev that night, yesterday evening. So yeah, there's still that going on, but people, like I said, they still get up, they still go to work. There's still traffic. People are still driving their cars to go to and fro. They're still going to restaurants. Restaurants are open, and everything's everything's still
Still
continuing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to get your understanding of your feeling about Kiev right now. And what I mean by climate or atmosphere is, what is the mood? What mood do you feel?
Like, thanks for God, like Kiev, like one of the most protection city in Ukraine. So we feel comfortable inside of Kiev, and its true life is continuous. So everything is working. Maybe not in same way like before the war, but it still work. And for me, I feel comfortable because it's my city. That's why. But okay, some places really closed, and it's sad. It's sad, but I believe that after
Those places will open back
yes.
up. Yeah, a lot of places closed due to COVID too. So we had a double whammy.
Yeah,
here.
double.
So we had the COVID and then we had the invasion. So we really, and when you think about those circumstances, a lot of restaurants, a lot of businesses closed during COVID that never reopened. Porter Pub, which is a big chain here in Kiev. I think Porter Pub is around Ukraine.
Yes.
They closed many of their facilities, their places, during COVID.
Yes, before the war.
Right, before the war. And then, but then in the war, I think they closed a couple of others because they just couldn't sustain it. But now people are coming back, and now Porter Pubs are full. People are using Porter Pubs. They're going to, Pazata Hata. They're going to the nice places. Jardy Miasso is a brand new place. It's about 6 months now that's been open, or 5 months, I think. But anyway, it's new.
Yeah.
Very busy. It's very nice, really wonderful atmosphere inside. They did a very fantastic job on.
And very popular. Started to be popular.
I know. You have to have a
I'm
reservation
so
now. Yeah, you can't sit down. You have to have a reservation.
Yeah,
you have to
need
call.
reservation. Yes.
And usually in about a day in advance. And if it's a special event, forget it. There's no places to sit. But yeah, so now we're getting to see that come back up.
And a lot of people come back to Kiev.
Yes, and so there is that flood of people coming back. I know.
Maybe also because of inside immigration, like not only from outside, from out of Ukraine, but also from small villages.
Coming into Kiev.
In Kiev,
Yeah, we had that growth, that big spurt, obviously from the east.
Yes.
They're in occupied territories. A lot of people came into Kiev. So Kiev is definitely, since 2014, has boomed growth.
Yeah.
It used to be a 2.5, 3 million city, and now it went to 4 to 5 million, because of that.
For now, I don't feel like Kiev is empty. It's like before the war for me.
Yeah.
Like I live in the biggest part of Kiev named Troeshena. So I see all my neighbors around of me, all puppies, dogs, cats around of me. So life is continue,
Yeah, and people are out walking on the streets and
Yes.
stuff. So,
in same way.
Which that's inspiration because it really allows again the investors to start looking to come and invest in Ukraine. Kiev is a great city to invest in because it is the capital and it's really the commerce of Ukraine. Obviously, there's going to be whole big developments coming in. They're already have started a rebuilding of Bucha and Irpin. There's other cities and Chernihiv. They've already started doing the reconstructions and rebuildings there. They've been doing some temporary housing buildings, going up to help. I know our company is going to be involved with a greater program for building permanent residence for people to be coming in for affordable housing. Now, in America, when we say affordable housing, it's really kind of a negative thing, but it's not. It's the way we're structuring it is for people to be able to own their places again.
Yes.
They've lost their homes. They're not going to get the subsidy necessary to replace it, and so we're going to be involved to help them to be able to recapture and to gather their homes again, whether we do individual homes or whether we do multi-family apartment-style homes and businesses. So we're going to be involved in that. So it is an opportunity now for that investment. Those individuals and those people and those institutions that are looking to put money back into Ukraine, we are preparing for that, and we're getting that ready. And so what you said, and just the feeling, it doesn't feel empty. Kyiv doesn't feel empty. And people are moving around. People are still smiling. People talk. Like we coming here, we got stopped and talked. Friends stopped me and we said hi, and with a smile and everything. So so those are all good good positive signs that the economy is going to turn around. It's going to provide more jobs.
Yes.
It's going to be
I met a lot of tourists also from other countries in Kyiv.
They're coming in, yeah.
Yeah, I think like they are interesting also, like, wow, it's a country with war now, but they didn't stop, like they coming to see how people live there.
There's a lot coming in that are helping. There's a lot coming in to see what's going on, But you're right. There's more foreigners now than there was last year.
Irpin and Bucha, it's like city for now, like for like tourist place because people,
of course, that's where the history started.
Now they would like to see what was there during the occupation. So,
which is going to again produce jobs. Because we're gonna, we have our tourist guides and our companies are gonna, start picking that tourism back up and make trips, and and of course they'll have the story behind it and everything to be able to give the full experience to the tourists that come in to want to see what's going on, and of course those tourists come in with foreign money, and that's important because foreign money is what's the lifeblood of any country. When foreign money comes in, that's what really stimulates a growth in the economy and really brings a robust lifestyle for the local community, for the civilians, and the citizens of Ukraine. So that's exciting too, and so that atmosphere is absolutely fantastic. And I saw the change happen many months ago, but now we're coming into this year. We're now moving into our second year, even though we've closed off our first year of full war.
Yes.
We're moving into our second year of this particular war, and it's coming to a head. The missile strikes are desperation. There's no purpose for it. It doesn't move armies. It doesn't move borders. It doesn't move lines. It's just terrorism. It's just pure terrorism. It's just pure desperation. It's exactly what Hitler did when he knew he was already defeated. He committed suicide. He was already defeated. The East and the West had already been closed in on Germany, and the war pretty much was over. He just sent out all the missiles. He just randomly. Yeah. So they were going all the way into UK. They're going into France. They're going everywhere, just because. It's just a pure evil, pure evil terrorism and stuff like that. And that's what's happening right now. We're just seeing that, just this desperation of evil that says, well, I'm just going to do as much damage and I'm going to kill as many civilians as I can and just throw missiles out there, And our defense is doing the best to knock those missiles down, but some of them do get through, unfortunately. And but that's the sign of an end. There's an era that's coming in, and I think everybody feels that excitement. They kind of feel like, okay, Last year we didn't know when victory was going to be, but this year we feel like victory is just around the corner,
Yes.
and that's exciting. So and I'm
We
not.
should believe to our win.
Yes.
No other way.
Every Ukrainian doesn't feel defeat. Every Ukrainian knows that victory is Ukraine's.
Yeah.
Every Ukrainian you
Soon.
talk to, yeah,
Just one step and finish.
exactly. But it's
Yeah.
amazing. Every Ukrainian doesn't. There's not one thought of defeat in a single
We
Ukrainian.
don't think about
No.
worse things. We
But
will
you think
believe to our victory.
it's victory, exactly. I mean, the songs support it,
Yeah.
the atmosphere, the people. It's just, Slava Ukraina, and then
Da,
and
yes,
it
it's
just
true.
it's just an amazing feeling. It isn't a single Ukrainian that you could talk to that would ever say, "Oh, we're going to lose." They're
And
all
I
it's all the
like
victory.
this period of time. It makes us more stronger as Ukrainian.
Mhm.
Like people start wear Ukrainian clothes, start
Yes.
use our language Ukrainian, because
That became
before
huge,
the
big-
war
yeah.
we didn't do this. It was everything like, oh, okay, you can choose.
Yeah.
But now we don't want to have a choice. We just want to be Ukrainian.
Yeah, it was
We don't need this choice. Thanks.
yeah. That choice didn't do us very well. So
Not interesting.
now we're
yeah.
Ukrainian through and through, and
Yes.
that's your identity, and that's your hallmark is your language, because with your language comes culture, because your language is a very rich language.
Yes.
A lot of people
Very
don't
melody.
melodic,
Oh, melodic,
yeah.
Yes.
And what's interesting is even the songs. I'm listening to the songs. Is it French? Is it? It sounds a little Spanish, but it's Ukrainian songs.
Oh, wow.
And it's wonderful. And I'm sitting there trying to sort it out. What language are they singing in? But it's the
Bravo.
melodic Ukrainian language that is singing in the songs, and they're
our
beautiful
clothes
songs.
is very colorful.
yeah.
Oh, so nice.
Embroidered and just
Yeah,
wonderful.
a lot of decoration with flowers. Oh, everything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it the best.
Yeah, it's a beautiful culture.
Yes.
So, Daryna, thank you
Yes,
for
thank
joining me
you
this evening
for invitation.
in the last minute. Yeah.
I will be back.
Yes, we will have you. We'll have you back on the show again. It will be a pleasure. It'll be nice. I know things are looking to change. Even with my company, I've eyeballed you to work with us and stuff. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to work those things out too. You have a very, your positive energy is absolutely fantastic. It's good for especially the company, but your mind too, and also that you're multilingual. Absolutely fantastic. You cover my back because I don't understand Russian or Ukrainian.
Or Ukrainian.
And so you helped me on that a lot, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, we're looking forward for those changes. So we'll have you back on again and go over the changes that have happened, and that how everything is moving forward in a very positive way. And so that I look forward to that time. So again, I just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening and listening to Daryna and our story about Ukraine and the changes that are going on. I kind of wanted to give that atmosphere and give you the feeling of how people are thinking and working and moving in Ukraine and in Kiev especially, because we are Andesite Blue. We are preparing our bond investors for us to raise the funds through bond sales and to invest here in Ukraine. And we already have many projects that are just waiting for that to happen. It's a perfect time for it because the growth that comes from here on out is going to be phenomenal on the investment side. Our bonds are secure through assets, so every bond is backed by a hard asset, and they're fixed rates, so they're very robust, very favorable rates from 7.15 all the way up to 8.85. Depending on the program, on the bond program you choose. But anyway, you can easily look us up on andesiteblue.com. You have it at the bottom of the screen. So go to our website and you can kind of give an idea what we're talking about and what this is going to do. We are involved and we are committed to help Ukraine, to rebuild Ukraine, and be a part of the glory of Ukraine again, as she shines, and the world is going to see her, and she's just going to be absolutely amazing in the world's eyes. So it'll be an exciting time. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Slava Ukraina.